before you scroll, here's a crazy truth. You are already using machine learning 200 plus times a day, even if you've never heard the term properly. Let me prove it using your own life. You've heard all the buzz about artificial intelligence. A lot of the time, it feels like straight up magic, doesn't it? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the actual engine that makes it all run, machine learning. And here's the thing, it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. It's just misunderstood. So let's get into it. I mean, it's a kind of strange question when you really stop and think about it, right? How does a machine learn anything? It doesn't have a childhood, it doesn't have memories or scraped knees or any life experience. And yet your phone knows your face, and Netflix, well, it definitely knows your taste in movies. So what's going on? How do they learn? That's the big question we're going to tackle today. And you know, the stakes here could not be higher. When the CEO of Google says something like this, you just know we're talking about a technology that is going to completely reshape our world. I mean, think about that phrase, more profound than electricity. Pretty wild already, right? But what you're about to hear next flips the entire fear-opportunity debate on its head. Just let that sink in for a second. And all of this creates this huge tension that pretty much everyone is feeling. On one side, there's that fear, right? Is the machine going to take my job? But on the other side, there's this massive opportunity. What if I could use these tools better than anyone else? This explainer, well, it's about being your guide from that fear to a place of real empowerment. Alright, so to get us there, we're going to break this down into 4 simple parts. First, we'll look at AI's big question. Then, we'll get into what machine learning really is. After that, we'll find out where it's already hiding in your daily life. And finally, we'll explore what your future could look like with ML. Okay, so let's start with that big question. We've seen these sky-high predictions and that tension they create. You know, the fear versus the opportunity. And this isn't just some techie topic. It's a really fundamental conversation about where we're all headed. So, how do we get from this huge idea of AI to how it actually works on the ground? Well, the answer is the engine under the hood. So let's define it. Ready for the part everyone thinks is too technical? Don't worry, you're about to understand machine learning clearer than 99% of people. What exactly is machine learning? Okay, here it is. This might be the simplest definition you'll ever get. Machine learning is when a computer learns patterns from data and then uses those patterns to make a prediction or a decision. That's it. Seriously, it's not magic. It's not a machine thinking like a human. It's about finding patterns, pure and simple. And to make this super intuitive, just think about how a little kid learns the difference between a cat and a dog. You don't give them a rule book, right? You just show them lots and lots of pictures. That's a cat, that's a dog, and slowly, their brain starts to pick up on the patterns. Pointy ears, wet noses, whiskers, the way they move. After enough examples, they can see a new animal and know which one it is. Machine learning does the exact same thing, but its pictures are just data. And it turns out a machine learns in 3 main ways. First, you've got supervised learning. That's where it learns from data that's already labeled. Think about your email inbox with messages already marked as spam or not spam. Then there's unsupervised learning. This is where it finds its own hidden patterns in messy, unlabeled data, like a business trying to group its customers into different segments without knowing the groups beforehand. And finally, there's reinforcement learning, which is all about trial and error. It gets rewarded for good decisions and punished for bad ones, kind of like how a self-driving car learns to navigate traffic. The actual process for building one of these models is also super logical. If you think this is cool, wait till you see how ML predicts the future. Literally, it all starts with data. You can think of data as the fuel. First you collect it, then you have to clean it all up so the machine can actually make sense of it. And then you train the model by feeding it thousands or even millions of examples. After that, you test it out on new data to see how it does, and you just keep improving it over and over. It's a cycle. More data usually means a better model. Okay, to see this whole cycle in action, let's talk about this brilliant real-world story. There was a hotel chain in India that had a huge problem. Their air conditioners were constantly breaking down, which, as you can imagine, led to some very unhappy guests and really high repair costs. So they turned to machine learning to see if it could help. And this brings us right back to step 1 of our cycle, collect data. They gathered everything you could possibly imagine. Temperature readings from the rooms, the humidity levels, how much electricity each unit was using, even data from vibration sensors. And of course, they had all the historical maintenance logs and breakdown records. So what happened? What was the result of all that? Well, after training a model on all that data, it could actually predict when an AC unit was going to fail 7 to 10 days before it happened. And the outcome for the business? A staggering 42% drop in guest complaints. That's the real-world power of turning patterns into predictions. You're about to see how ML is not coming someday. It's already hidden in your entire daily routine. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's cool for a big hotel chain, but the truth is, machine learning is already woven into your life, probably in ways you don't even notice. Let's just do a quick walkthrough of a totally normal day. You wake up, you unlock your phone with your face, yet that's ML. You get to work and your email has already sorted out all the junk. That's ML. You do some online shopping and the site is showing you stuff you actually want. ML again. And then you get home and unwind with Netflix. And that whole recommendation engine is pure machine learning. It's like this silent partner running in the background of your life. Alright, let's do a quick fire round of examples, starting with Netflix. It doesn't just suggest random movies, it's learning your mood. It figures out that you like thrillers on a Friday night, but maybe documentaries on a Sunday afternoon. Its whole goal is to get rid of that what should I watch feeling, so you spend more time watching and less time searching. Okay, next up, Amazon. That little customers who bought this also bought section, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, ML is at the core of their entire business. It's dynamically changing millions of prices every single day. It's predicting what you're going to order before you even do it. And it's positioning products and warehouses closer to you so they can ship them faster. And finally, think about ride-sharing apps like Uber or Ola. These things are basically real-time machine learning masterpieces. They are constantly solving this massive citywide logistical puzzle. They're predicting traffic, calculating surge pricing based on concerts or games, and matching you with the perfect driver to cut down your wait time. All of that in just a few seconds. Okay, so we've covered what it is and where you can find it. But now, we get to the most important part. What does all of this mean for you? How can you actually turn this knowledge into a real advantage, both personally and professionally? And this is the key question, right? Because you absolutely do not need to be a data scientist to get in on this. How can you grow with machine learning, even if you have zero plans to ever write a single line of code? Well, here are 6 clear paths forward you can start thinking about. First, just understanding the basics, like what you're learning right now, already makes you more valuable at work. Second, you can start using these incredible ML tools that are out there, like ChatGPT or Midjourney, to automate parts of your job today. You could even build a whole freelance business around these skills. And if you run a small business, you can use ML to predict customer demand and cut your costs. That mindset is the new competitive advantage. It frees you up to focus on what we humans do best. You know, the strategic thinking, the creativity, and solving those really complex problems. Because look, the AI revolution isn't coming. It's already here. And machine learning is the engine driving the whole thing. So the only question left to ask is a pretty simple one. Will you be the one who understands and controls this technology? Or will it be the one that ends up controlling your opportunities? Fire! If this helped you understand machine learning clearly, comment "I'm ready" and share this with someone who needs to prepare for the AI era. And make sure you subscribe because the next lesson will blow your mind.